Hi, in this video I'm going to be showing you some of the basics of Google Docs. The way that you can access Google Docs is either through a widget that you might have on your Bishop Mail Start page or through your inbox of your mesmerschools.org email. I usually like to get to it that way because, as you can see in the upper left-hand corner here, I have links to all of the apps that are a part of the Google Apps package. I have my start page, I have my mail, I have a calendar, I have web, I have documents, and this is the one I'm going to want to go to. So I'm going to click on documents. What will happen is it will open either a new tab, if that's the way your browser is set up, or it will open a new window. Now you'll see when it opens, usually the default, if you haven't changed it, the default view is all of your documents. Now I have quite a few in here, so later on we'll talk about how you can organize those and make it easier to find stuff. But for now, we're going to just look at creating a new document. So we're going to move over to this left-hand column, and you'll notice that in the left-hand column, up at the top, under the Mesmer Catholic Schools logo, we have a Create New button with an arrow. If I click on the arrow, it will expand, and you'll notice that I have 5 or 6 different things that I can choose from to create new. I can create a new document, which would be a Word document, word processing. I can create a presentation, which would be PowerPoint or Pages for those more familiar with iWork. I can create a spreadsheet, which would be Excel. Then I can also create something that's kind of cool, which is called a form. And in another video, I will be showing you how to work with forms. They're really neat, they look very professional, and they also will save you a lot of time when you're trying to collect information from students or parents or both. So we're going to look at that in another video. The next create new that you can do is a drawing. Now I haven't worked much with that, but I think it's very similar to like something called Corel Draw. It's not similar to any of the Adobe products at all. So it's kind of real basic, and I'm not exactly sure what it might be used for, but feel free to explore it as you would like. And then the last create new is a folder, which we will look at a little bit later as a way of organizing your documents, making it easier to find things. So to begin, let's just pretend we're going to create a new document. So I'm going to go down to the create new document, click on that. Again, it's going to open another tab or another window, and this looks pretty much like a Word document. When you open a new document, the first thing you want to do is, usually in the upper left-hand corner, next to the words Google Docs, you'll see that this one says Untitled, and that if I put my cursor over it, it becomes yellow. I want to click in there because I want to rename this document. Reason being is that Google Docs will start saving your document every 10 seconds, but it has to have a name. So let's just call it Sample. So you put whatever you want to call the document in there, and you hit OK. Now you'll notice that up here it has now become Sample. Also notice that over on the right-hand side, it says Saved Seconds Ago. So that tells me that as soon as I name this document, Google saved the document. Doesn't have anything in it, but it still saved it. Now, you can type whatever you want to do in this document. This is a sample. This is a sample of how you would work with creating a new Google document. Okay, now you'll notice that I have some of the same things that I can do that I would be able to do in Word as well. I can insert a picture if I want, and I would have to browse to the picture on my computer and then find it, put it in there, tell it to upload, and my image would be inserted. I can put a link in there. I can change the type of font. Now I don't have a lot of choices, But this list is growing every day. The last time I was in Google Docs and doing something, there were only about 5 or 6 fonts that I could choose from. Now there's about 12 of them. So the list keeps growing. I can change the size of the font just like I can in Word. I can paste something in here. I can cut something out. I can do bold, italic, underline. I can change the color of the text. I can change the text background color. I can put like a highlight over the top of it. I can put bullets and numbers in. I can change the indent. I can realign the text. I can change the spacing from 1 and 1.5 to 1.5, 2. So it's very similar without all of the bells and whistles that you have in Word. You can put a table in. You can insert a table. You can choose the size of the table. Here you can insert more things. I was just going through the little toolbar at the top, but you can put just about everything that you can put in Word, you can put in a Google document. And when I'm done, you might say, well, okay, now it's time to save it. But if I go over to File, notice that I don't have a command called Save or even Save As. Why, you may ask? Well, remember how when I renamed the file, Google Docs saved it right away? It did it again. So when you are ready to say that your document is done and you want to exit the document, instead of going to File, Save, you're going to go over here to the right-hand side and make sure that this button here says Saved. There will be times when it might say Save. That's because you've kind of missed the auto save cycle. So you always want to make sure before you close a document that it says saved over here. See, now it's saved it 3 minutes ago. So it's constantly saving, it's constantly working. So that's creating a new document in Google Docs. Now to get back to your home page for Google Docs, you don't do File Close because there's nothing here for File Close. You click on the words Google Docs. That takes you back to your Google Docs homepage, which I'm right here again. Now, suppose there's a document that you have been using over and over and over again, but it was before we had Google Docs. So you didn't create it in Google Docs, you created it in Word or Pages, or maybe you have it as a PDF. You do have the ability to upload existing documents into Google Docs. That you do by going over to this left-hand column again, but instead of choosing Create New, we're going to choose Upload. I click on Upload, and first of all, it tells me how much of my space I'm using. It tells me how big my file can be, which 1024 megabytes is pretty big. Then it asks me to select the files that I want to upload. Notice how this is a link because my cursor changes from a pointer into a hand. So I'm going to click on Select Files to Upload. It opens up my computer's files, and I locate my computer or the file that I want to upload. So mine would be in Documents. And I don't know, let's just choose a general notes here maybe. No, that's not a good one. Let's choose Lead 21. Okay, this is a PDF file. Now it's not going to allow me to change it. So I'm going to choose something different that's been done. Okay, Moodle user meeting notes or meeting notes. I guess I must have incorrectly labeled that. But here's a set of meeting notes, and then I can either double click on it or I can click on it once and say Open. Notice how now that document's name shows up here above where I can upload more files. So I can upload several files all at the same time. Now when I go down to the next part of the upload page, I see where it says Select Conversion Options. So now there's a couple of things to be aware of. First of all, you can convert a document to a Google Doc. Okay, so it says you can convert documents, which would be Word docs, presentations, which would be PowerPoints, and spreadsheets, which would be Excel. Now, when you convert them, it does a fairly good job of converting them unless you have a document that has a lot of formatting in it. If it has a lot of fancy formatting, lots of indents, hanging indents, maybe even a table, that might cause some problems in the conversion process. It might not end up looking exactly the way that you want it to look. There is a note that if you don't convert a file, you cannot edit it online. What does that mean? It means that if you keep a file in its original format, so for example, a Word document, you are not going to be able to edit that document live, nor is another person going to be able to edit it live. They will have to download it to their computer, make any changes, corrections, additions, deletions, and then re-upload it to Google Docs. So it's a little bit of a an extra step in there. But if you want to maintain and preserve your formatting, then it's probably best not to convert the document into a Google Doc. So you would want to uncheck this box, which I'm going to do. Then down at the bottom, it also warns you that you shouldn't be uploading documents that you don't really have the copyright to or that aren't yours, those types of things. Now, at the very bottom here, you can choose which folder you want to put it into. Now, when I click on it, I have several folders that I can choose from. Most of you, when you start, will probably only have your destination folder. So I'm going to cancel this. We're going to just leave it at destination folder. You also have the option to set your settings for sharing here. We're going to leave it private for now. And then I just start the upload. And it does its little thing. And notice how it's now got a green check mark in front of it, which means it has been uploaded. It also tells me the upload is complete. And I want to go back to Google Docs. So I'm going to click on Back to Google Docs. And there is my document. It's been uploaded. Notice how it has the small blue W on it. That tells me that it is not a Google Doc. It is a Word document. And I can open it from here. But if I click on it, I can view it, but I can't do anything to it. That's what it was talking about when it said you cannot make changes online with uploaded documents that haven't been converted. Notice how when I click, I can highlight it, but I can't do anything with it. I don't even have a formatting bar up here. So what I would have to do is download the document. If you're choosing to go this route and you're going to be sharing this document with someone else, there's one other thing to be aware of. The person must have the program that you use to create the document on their machine in order to be able to, first of all, open it once they've downloaded it, and secondly, to make any changes to it. So for example, if you upload a Word document and you ask someone else to download it, take a look at it, make corrections, additions, deletions, make sure that they have Microsoft Word on their computer or they are not going to be able to open your document. Now to get out of this, because I really don't want to do anything with this, I can simply close the tab or the window and I'm back to my beginning. Now, what I'd like to do next is show you how to do the sharing. So I've got all of these different documents here, and notice how some of them say not shared, some of them have a person's name, some of them have more than one person's name. This one says me to 2 collaborators. This one says me to Messmer Catholic Schools, 1 collaborator, 3 viewers. So it kind of tells me what the status of each document is. So I'm going to take that document that I just uploaded and I'm going to put a little check mark in front of it because that's the way Google knows that that's the document I want to work with the sharing on. Now notice above the top here, you have a little ribbon, and share is one of my buttons. I'm going to click on the down arrow by share, and what I'm going to go to is the sharing settings. Okay, that's going to open up a new little window. Right now, this little window tells me that I'm the owner. It also tells me that this document happens to be private. I'm not sharing it with anyone. Now, there are two different ways to share. One would be to go up here and to say change. When I do that, I'm going to be sharing this document with a whole big group of people. Okay? I can share it publicly on the web. Now, this would be a good option for people who might want to create a document and then share it with their students or share it with parents, and they want to do that either through their Google website or through Fronter, the online classroom system, which you'll be hearing more about. So this one would be if you want to share that document with the world, which is what it says. Anyone on the internet can find and access, and they don't need to sign in with their Messmer School sign-in. The other choice is you can share it with anyone who you give the link to. Then it means that the only people who can get into that document are the people that you send the link for that to. You can share it with people at Messmer Catholic Schools. Now what that would mean is if I put choose that radio button, it would mean that all I have to do then is tell people I shared document and give them the name of the document. They could do a search for the document and they would find the document. So we'll look at that a little bit later, maybe in another video. You can share it with people at Messmer Catholic Schools with the link, or you can keep it private, which means you decide who's going to be able to see this document and what they're going to be able to do with it. So for the most part, you probably won't be using this much unless you're an administrator or maybe you're a department chair and you've been told that you need to share this document with everyone in Messmer Catholic Schools or with everyone in your department. So I'm going to cancel out of this. Notice that down at the bottom here it says add people. This is where you would be able to share this document with just a few or several people. You could go up to 20 people. You just have to keep typing in their email address. So it says enter names, email addresses, or groups. So if I click there, I can put a person's email and start typing their name, and it'll come up just like it does in your email. Well, let's put another person on there. Okay, now I can give everybody the same permissions for the document, which is what I can do here. Right now, both of these people can edit this document, which means they can go in and make changes. My other options are that they can just view it. They could just look at it. They can't do anything with it. Okay? Once you've decided what their permissions are, then you can type a little message. This is a document, just like an email, because really what it's going to be is kind of an email. Now, if you're not going to share it as an email, because you have the option not to do it here, if you don't share it and have them send an email, the person doesn't know that you've shared the document. So you have to send an email anyway. So you might as well write your little message here and then make sure that this stays checked because it is the default. And then you would hit share. And these two people would get an email with a link to my document. All they would have to do then is open the email, click on the link. It will take them directly to the document. And once they've been in the document, it will appear on their list of documents under all items. So that's the simple way. I'm going to cancel this. That's the way to share a document in Google Docs. And you can do that with one document, 20 documents, 30 documents. It's very easy to do, and it allows you to be able to collaborate with your colleagues on various documents. Now, organizing your documents. Notice how right now this is kind of messy. There's a lot of documents on here. There's 68 different documents. Now, if I wanted to find one particular document, it'd be a little bit difficult. So you do have the option of putting your documents into folders, just like you do on your computer desktop or your computer documents file. Notice that down here, under all of these, we have a area called My Folders. Now, if I click on that, I see a duplicate of these folders over here in my larger viewing area. As long as this is the last way that I have chosen to view my Google Docs, every time I open it, this is what I will see. Notice how there are little arrows next to these. If I click on the arrow, it expands and it shows me all the documents that are in there. I can also double click on the name of the folder and it opens up and shows me just those documents. Now to get back, I can use the back arrow, but I can also say go back to my folders. Notice how they're different colors. I can change them so that I can easily tell what each folder is so they don't all look alike. Let me go back to all items and let me show you something. Notice how these are the names of the folders. Now if I go back to all items, they're all going to stay in here. They're never going to get out of here. You still have this option. It's kind of like your email. When you click on all mail, you see all of your emails. But I have a little tag in my folders and sharing area that tells me what folder that particular document is in. So for example, this letterhead document is in a folder called Messmer Shared Documents. Now, you might say, well, I don't see that folder in your list over here. If I go folder shared with me, oh, it should show up, but it doesn't. Okay, let's do one of these. Okay, notice how I have a folder called Summer Laptop Maintenance. It's here and it's here. It tells me that there's a document called Laptop Checklist in that folder. If I expand this here, no folders. Oh, there we go. Okay. Here are the two documents that are in Summer Laptop Maintenance. And it's Summer Laptop Repairs is in there. So My Folders is simply a way of organizing your documents into folders. You do that by doing Create New, choose a folder. It'll ask you to give the folder a name. And then you can add a description if you like. You can change the color right from here. You can have it be a light background with a dark type. You can have it be a dark background with a light type. Let's just, for sake of showing this, choose the dark green background with a light green. And then I'm going to do Save. Now when I go to this folder, there's nothing in it. So how do I get stuff into the folder? Good question. I can click on All Items, choose the documents that I want to put into that folder, and put a check mark in front of them. And for now, I'm just going to say my Meeting Notes. And then I'm going to go up to the Folders tab up here, the button that says Folders. Click on that. When I click on it, notice how I get the whole list of folders. I'm going to put a check mark in front of Testing because that's the folder I want to move that document into, and I'm going to say Apply Changes. Now remember, it still shows up on all items, but notice how now it has a label next to it that says Testing. So if I go to the Testing folder, there it is, and I can open it from there. Google Docs. You just have to love it. You can do just about everything online, accessible from anywhere, that you can do on your computer or your laptop. The beauty of it is that you can share with other people and you can collaborate with them. That concludes this video on Google Docs and using it to help you be able to collaborate and to work with others and to organize yourself and have your documents able to be found quickly. Thanks for watching.